Garret was at the wheel of the Superbird, Ace in the passenger seat, Woolite in back.
"You know where he's going?"
asked Woolite to Ace. "Not a clue, but something is happening here I can't explain," said Ace. Woolite took off his sunglasses. Ace had never seen his partner nervous, most likely because he was always the architect of his fate. In this moment, he was literally and figuratively in the back seat. Garret felt the call of the moon pulling him north. It was as if something inside of him had been touched by a higher power beckoned him. When Garret turned off onto a back road into the Heathrow swamps was when Ace began to question his decision to trust this newly minted hunter. The darkened woods gave way to a gravel road. Because of the positioning of the lights of Furlong, they could see that they had turned back southwards towards the city. The three men reached a cavernous approach. The entryway was overgrown and obscured, but the gravel was laid out as if vehicles could potentially pass through.
"Stop the car,"
Woolite demanded. The only reason Garret was alive and not shot in the back of the head was because of his expedient reaction to his command. Woolite opened the car door, and Ace pulled the keys out of the ignition.
"Where the fuck are you going, boy?"
the grizzled hunter demanded. Garret's focus and determination relaxed as if he were released from a trance when he no longer felt the hum of the engines. "Don't know. The moon called me. It was as if it felt my rage and called to me. I can't tell you where it leads," said Garret. "You don't feel it now?" Ace asked, as if he were just trying to understand what it was he was going through. Garret shook his head in the negative. Whatever it was that compelled him was waning like a muscle relaxing after being tensed. "You can just give me your car and I'll come back," said Garret, knowing they'd never agree to that. "I want to see where it goes," said Ace.
"To your death. You don't have a way to know what's down there, and we're working with someone green and unproven. You go down there, you die,"
said Woolite as if he was certain about that. "I think it's something worthwhile," said Ace. Woolite shook his head in the negative.
"That's death down there, boy. You might get little feelings and notice stains, but I know when something don't feel right, and that don't feel right, boy," said Woolite.
Garret stepped back from the conversation completely. This was the first time he had seen these two divided. Garret put his hand on the steering wheel once again. He felt an overwhelming urge to start the car and drive. He knew that inside the mouth of this cavern was the answer to the burning hate he felt. "I'm going, old man," Ace said, as if his curiosity outweighed Woolite's gut. It wasn't as if he didn't trust Woolite's belief that whatever was below was extremely dangerous. It was just that they didn't kill monsters for the same reasons. Ace lost most of the people that mattered to him, similarly to Garret. But unlike Garret, a part of him, a part so deep down he couldn't see it, wanted to die fighting. So Ace was chasing death's tail for the past 2 years he had been on the road. Woolite, on the other hand, didn't have a death wish. His rage was always on a constant simmer. He approached the hunt with a cold calculation, as if he was running a marathon, not a sprint. Woolite on some level treated murder and massacre like a job, not a career. He was a professional exterminator that had long since given up on the idea of having any other life that wasn't this. Whatever it was that put him on this path of mayhem was so muted that the job existed over the pain. Woolite popped the trunk of the Superbird and filled it with a handful of weapons. When the sack was bulging, he slung it over his shoulder. Ace looked down, then to Woolite. "It's like that?" the younger man said, as if hurt that his partner could cut him out of his life so quickly. Woolite's instant acceptance of the situation was a testament to how many he had seen come and go, and the cold deadness he held in his heart when he knew he had to face the dark alone. Ace extended his hand for a parting shake. Woolite looked at his gesture suspiciously, as if it was unnecessary and ultimately pointless. Ace held out his hand regardless of Woolite's feelings. The old hunter reluctantly shook. One quick pull coupled with a head nod. "Till we meet again," said Ace.
"You'll be them, boy, so best we don't cross paths no more."
Woolite said. The old man's voice cracked with the slightest bit of sincerity. Woolite disappeared quickly into the marshes. Ace slowly hopped in the passenger seat. Before he put the key back in the ignition, he looked to Garret. You don't know what it is down there, but what did it feel like? Garret stared at the darkened gravel road at the mouth of the cavern. In a word, hope, Garret said as if absolutely certain. Ace smiled weakly, then put the key back in the ignition. When Garret revved the car, so too did he reawaken the call that was inside of him. Ace nodded. Garret pushed the Superbird through the shifting caverns. Most of the paths were man-made. Mostly, there were ancient wood beams that held chunks of the tunnel aloft. The passages expanded and contracted from wide open spaces to so tight the mirrors nearly scraped the sides. The only thing that they could see was whatever the headlights touched. As curious as Ace was, he was not letting his guard down. He ritualistically fed his shotgun shells, and the moment he finished, he started with the clips of a rifle. Garret knew where he was going, but not when he'd get there. After several minutes navigating through these twists and turns, the tunnel opened up to a huge cavern. The two first saw the predatory red brake lights. Cars idled, torches were lit. Metal shivered anxiously like runners on a starting block. Ace reached in the back seat and clutched the shotgun. Garret instinctually lined up with the other cars. He looked to his left and saw the green Remick they were chasing earlier. The driver looked over to Garret with a similar curiosity, and a second ghostly afterimage turned towards him as if it were out of sync with reality. Garret looked right and saw a battered El Camino so rusted it was hard to tell how it was even holding together. In the driver's seat was a woman in a nun's habit, so pale she was white, her eyes focused, looking straight ahead, unfazed by her surroundings. "What now?" said Ace.